Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment you are going to hear the voice of a man who will tell you some tremendously important facts.
Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today we have an exciting show. We have Julyet Berlen, the medicine woman. We had her previously on and she talked about her wonderful book on the medicine woman, and it's a wonderful book. I recommend it. And I wanted to bring Juliette back on. Juliette's gotten into neuro-linguistic programming and has taken some training on it. I have a huge background in NLP. I wrote my master's thesis on neuro-linguistic programming, and it was a seminal part of my earlier life. And so I have a whole background. It's something I'm fascinated by. It's been interesting to watch NLP evolve to what it is today. And so it's interesting to talk to somebody that has gotten into it new and has just learned about it from a new perspective. And I thought it would be a cool way to talk about NLP and catch up and see how Juliette's been doing. So welcome to the Reality Revolution, Juliette.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, and I did not know that you had a master's in NLP. Now I'm a little nervous.
Well, it's actually one of my master in communication, but
Okay.
I wrote it on NLP. You know, it was one of those fascinating experiences. You could research anything you wanted. And so I started trying to understand NLP from a researching perspective, going into the college library, looking up the articles on the origins and who these people were and how it got started. Because at the time I started reading it, it was in the 90s. And by then it had really taken hold. Tony Robbins mentions it in his first book. He kind of breaks off from NLP and starts his own thing. But I was a huge Tony Robbins fan. So I'm reading this and it's really fascinating. So before I go further, tell me about your experience with it. What inspired you to get into NLP, and teach me a little bit about what you've learned, because it's been a while. So
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm fascinated with it as well. I've been looking into NLP. I found out probably 5 years ago, and I really couldn't find a teacher where actually teaches the processes and how am I going to apply this into my life. And I was super confused until I found my teacher and took the training. I heard NLP actually implemented around 70 years ago, and it's been used by many doctors and many coaches. And Tony Robbins is one of the first to actually take the coaching training, and his training took 6 months because they did not have the system as we do now. They did not have like a school where you can go. He literally had to hang out with his coach and learn step by step. And he's using NLP actually still today on his trainings. It's the Unleash the Power Within You or something. That's what he calls it. I learned that we all have programming, and the way we speak, we create our reality. And how we create our reality is actually what we feel creates the reality. And every word, every sentence that we spell, we speak it into reality and we make it our lives. So I started watching my self-talk. I realized that I did not know how to turn that into a positive self-talk. And I did not know that subconscious doesn't actually recognize negatives. It literally bypasses it. If I were to say, I don't want to go, my subconscious will take the not, I do not want to go. So it will be, I do want to go. So when I learned that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm speaking everything I want in a way that it's not going to ever happen. So I wanted to learn how to speak for myself first. So when I signed up for the training with Elizabeth Ann Walker, she's one of the world's leaders NLP trainer from Australia. But for me right now, I think she's the #1 in the whole world. She teaches integrated NLP, which for most coaches or even therapists or doctors or school teachers, whoever you are, to teach them how to integrate NLP techniques, the way we speak, into your coaching. So everything becomes like a one big piece of a magical tree that you have all these branches and you can grab help from any section. So that was my main reason to actually learn NLP. Now I'm using NLP on my coaching because I'm a holistic certified health coach. It helps so many people because we always say, I want to lose weight. And I learned that the minute you say lose something, your brain goes into looking for it so it can be recovered. So you can't lose weight. So now I say release weight because then it's been released and it's not coming back. So little things, and we can actually, in a process, change something that you like to not like. So if you were to drink Diet Coke all the time, I can actually change that for you in one session and you will never look at Diet Coke again. Also hypnosis, because hypnosis makes you super relaxed and you get into a state where you are very, you can take the suggestions without conflict with your conscious mind. So that's been very helpful on my life, and now I'm using it for my clients as well. So it's fascinating. I'm fascinated by the whole, this little tricks that I learned using the language. Instead of saying I have to, now I use I get to. So that's a different feeling. The minute I feel I get to, I feel so lucky. I feel so grateful. Oh my God, I get to go to work and I get to do these things. In order, if I were to say I have to, then it's a burden. So every word we use emphasizes a feeling inside me. As you know, you get what you are. You live how you feel. Feeling is everything. And yeah, these are little things that I learned, and now I'm serving it to the masses.
It's something that is enabled to constantly change. The model for NLP is not just one system or book that you read and that's the rules for it. It takes the best of what people do and then takes the most important part, primarily in many cases, just the language and the way that they use the language, and models that and allows you to use that as for yourself. And so they've kind of gathered bits and pieces from amazing people. And when you see people applying it, how's this person so magical and how do they talk that way? What is going on? And they're just using tools that they've received from all these places. One of the most fascinating is Milton Erickson. The reason it's so powerful, at the beginning, Milton Erickson was this therapist who was mostly paralyzed. And so people would go in and they would come out just transformed.
So actually we train with this material, Milton Erickson.
That's where that came from. People are like, what happened in there? You went in there and you were barely in there for a couple of minutes, and they'd come out and they'd quit smoking, they'd lose weight, they do these amazing things. So they started recording him and he could barely move, right? But he would have a pattern of words he's the beginning where they understood that everybody speaks through their senses. So when I talk about seeing something, or it sounds good, feels good to me, you start to get clues into how people experience reality through their language, and you can use their sort of pattern of combination back to them, like a combination lock. Like this person is a visual, feeling, sound combination, and once you unlock their pattern, their subconscious is open to you.
So it's neuro-linguistic programming.
Exactly.
Right? So the neuro part is the mind and the feeling and the nervous system part.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the strategies. Everybody has strategies. Everybody. The way you do one thing, you do the same everything. If you go to shopping, if you're a kinesthetic person, if you're a feely, touchy person, you will look at something, so visual, you liked it, you're gonna go touch it, you're gonna try it and see how it feels, and then you will buy it. If you are a visual person, you already did the online scanning the day before, you know exactly what you're gonna buy, you go, you buy it, you go. You leave. But if you're an AD, auditory digital, which means that you're in the mind all the time, like you're a planner, you think, you self-talk and all that people, they will go, they will look, they will try, they will put it back, they will think, should I get this? Or should I check the other stores? Maybe I will wait and go see the other store and then I'll come back. Yeah. And then they will leave. They will go to the other store and then they'll come back, and they still don't make decision because they're in the head, they're planning ahead, they're thinking. That those people actually, they can never make decisions. So linguistic part is how we code ourselves, because we are coding, we are spelling, we are creating our life, and the programming is that's how we run internally. And if we know how to code ourselves, we can run also our external world.
It's a fascinating topic. Yeah.
Thank you. And in NLP, the main goal is to always speak towards what you want.
So my question to you is, when you started to get into this, one of the first things that's really amazing is you start to really look at yourself, and you realize that you had these habits and patterns and ways of thinking. What did you learn about yourself in learning these, what I call technologies?
Self-sabotage. I realized that I had programs that I did not know. I've done a lot of plant medicine, as you know, and always it was shown to me what I needed to change. I just did not know how to change it. What happens is, in the scripts, in the processes, they use a quantum language. So it literally bypasses your conscious mind, and I'm able to speak directly to your unconscious and discover what's in there without the medicine, just by the language, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was, I discovered for myself, okay, I'm doing everything right. I'm following my passion. I'm nice to people. I'm doing everything right. And why I'm not complete? I feel something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm not making the money I'm supposed to make? Why I'm not doing this business that I'm supposed to, like, there's this missing piece. And I realized that I had a limiting belief that it was, I'm not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not know that if I actually didn't go through the training.
Yeah.
Or I would not know that if I didn't speak to someone who is an NLP coach. I would think, oh, I wouldn't even think about it. That was not even in the picture for me. So when we start doing the processes, when they speak, I start answering. I did not know where those answers were coming from. And I was 2 years old that my dad left, and I can see the whole room. I can see where I am. I can see where my mom was. And I'm like, what just happened? How is that possible? It's magical. So now we're able to do this with our customers or our clients or our people that we coach. Our language reveals all our limiting beliefs. And that's how we are able to help. And what I was doing, think about this. You don't speak a word of Italian. You go to Italy, you sit in a restaurant, and you take the menu. You call the waiter. You say, I don't want this. You're pointing out the tomato, for example. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. So you pointed out 3 things that you don't want. Since there is no communication, what are you going to get? The waiter is going to bring you exactly what you don't want. So that's what I was doing.
True.
That's exactly what I was doing before NLP. Now I speak towards what I want. We don't use the word but, because but, after whatever you say after but, it's always negative. I love you, but I don't want to be with you, for example. And the minute you use but, whatever you said before but, your subconscious kind of deletes the whole thing. It doesn't, even if it was positive, you stated positive, you put the but, and you ended with the negative.
Right.
It's not gonna work.
And we're not aware that we use these little phraseologies all the time. Once you're awakened to it, it's amazing. You catch yourself using it and you hear it all the time. It just changes how your communication, right?
Yeah.
After a while of using NLP and becoming a master practitioner, the next thing was really applying it, because I'm one of those theoretical guys. I know all the theory behind it, but actually applying it. And so when I at first it was sort of memorizing scripts. Sometimes I was as memorizing scripts. I wasn't very good at that because people could tell that I was coming from a recorded script. So it had to become more natural, sort of an awareness where I was effortlessly just saying things that naturally came. And that was took me a while to reach that point. But I once I did, and I'm just asking if you've experienced this, there was a point where I got to be so good at it. I would have interactions with people in sales and in relationships where it felt like it was too much. There's a point where I had control of the conversation to a point where I was influencing their subconscious, and I was able to manipulate that person. If it was in sales, I could get them to buy whatever. If I was selling a mortgage, I could use that and I could sell my mortgage. Or if I was in a relationship. And so I found there's a part of me that resisted that felt guilty about that and wanted to push away from, because I don't want to manipulate anybody, but it's just like electricity. You can use it and you can hurt somebody, or you can turn on the lights with it. And NLP is just this technology. Technology can be good and bad, but for some people, they can use it and it's incredibly, incredibly powerful, right?
If you're using it to actually help them and teach them so their sales can go higher, so their relationship can get better, why not?
Exactly.
Why did you feel guilty?
I just realized that I had this power at my fingertips to use language in such a way that I had to be careful, because I don't want to violate anybody's free will. I want them to make the choice for themselves. And so it's just a point. A lot of people that get really good at NLP, for instance, a good example of this, there for about a decade, you can even find it. There's an entire genre of books of pickup artists that have channels on YouTube, and they have funnels all over the place, and they use these techniques for guys to pick up girls. I texted you about this. I was like, once you learned about NLP and did you realize that sometimes guys were using these techniques on you, and maybe you're not, by using certain keywords, maybe you weren't aware of it, right?
Actually, what you're saying is, so you were using NLP and you were always speaking towards what you want.
When I knew it, you always know what you want, right?
So obviously you want to make a sale. Let's go with the sale part.
Right.
So you are speaking towards making a sale. Mm-hmm. Therefore, that becomes your reality because you're using positive language and your subconscious delivers. You're not doing anything to the other person. You're creating your own reality by the way you speak. So if you want a relationship, I want to be with you, to the lady, or I want to go to dinner. You cannot manipulate other people's mind. That's why hypnosis not work for some people. You have a free will. The minute you speak a positive language, that what you want, your subconscious takes that as an order. Your conscious mind gives the order, your subconscious delivers. So it was not you doing anything to them. Actually, you were doing it to yourself. They were just agreeing with you if it was ecological for them.
Right.
So
that's true.
You can start reusing it.
But the point that I still always have naturally used it because you can't help it. But the point is, there is, I mean, if you read about the history of the NLP, the CIA started using it to interview people so that they could get them to tell them the truth. The creator, Richard Bandler, was accused of murder and testified at his own trial, and they found him not guilty, even though people cried saying we should have found him guilty, but we were listening to what he said. So that's the reason I just bring it up, because whenever with great power comes great responsibility, just like in Spider-Man, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
And so it's one of those, it is a powerful technology. And as a teacher, I always like to make sure I come from that issue that, hey, this is something that's so powerful. If you come at it from the wrong perspective or desire, it can be negative, but it can really change your life in a powerful way.
It's
right?
Definitely a wizardry. Like, you have superpowers. I think everybody has superpowers, and I'm obsessed to teach them all.
Exactly.
If you see me talk to my friends, they're like, oh, you just said but, let's change that. Like, I'm correcting them immediately because I want them to have the life that I'm having right now. My life changed 180 after the training. Actually, after third day into the training, I had the most amazing healing. It was super hard. I don't know what happened. Something cracked open and I was able to see all the crap that it was in my mind, and we were able to take it out and I replaced it, and now I'm in charge.
That is awesome.
Now I'm not living my mom's life. Now I'm not living my dad's life or my teachers or the TV programming. Now I'm able to see, if you were to speak to me in a language that, quote unquote, you are programming me, I will see that.
Right.
So I want this to be available to everybody. It's my passion. I love sharing what I know. So when I do my coaching with clients, I don't just go through the PowerPoint. Okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, we're gonna do this process, and now you're done. I'm actually with them the entire 6 weeks. I help them with their work. I help them with their weight release. I help them with their relationships. I help they make more money because they had a belief. You know this better than anyone about manifestation.
Absolutely.
Change your paradigm, change your reality. Just like Bob Proctor's book. I love that book. I probably read it 100 times. If your mind is programmed to make $50,000, you will always make $50,000. You will not make less than or no more.
Right.
So if you're someone who is not happy with that and can't find out why I'm always making $50,000, why I can't go more than 50 and I'm doing everything right, there's a limiting belief hidden in there. Something happened between age 0 to 7, and they believe they're not good enough or they're not worthy. So here's the good thing. Elizabeth Ann Walker, my dear teacher, she invented this process called ECT. It's called the Emotional Change Technique. She invented this 3 years ago. It's a timeline process. We're able to basically take you back to the first imprint when that trauma or feeling or belief that imprinted in you. We are able to go to that point with what you know now, with this perspective as an adult. You take your mind, you go back to your 2-year-old, for example, or your 7-year-old, relive the occasion and cut the cord, come back to new. That trauma is no longer in the picture. Because every time, let's say someone told you in the school, you're not a good drawer, your teachers kept saying, oh, you draw horrible. So then from that point on, you start, even if you make one little mistake drawing, it's like, oh yeah, my teacher told me that, I remember. So the feeling gets stronger, stronger, stronger. And now you're 40, and if you can't draw, it's like, oh yeah, I remember my teacher told me I suck at this. So we go back, we fix what happened there, and that's no longer your belief pattern. We just shattered that.
It sounds so much like Carlos Castaneda's recapitulation in his books. His mentor takes him back. He's a Toltec Indian. He's a shaman that takes him back, and he has to relive younger experiences and experience them. You have to experience it and then cut it off. You don't look at it from afar. You go back and experience it, and then then you can remove it from your timeline. It doesn't affect you emotionally.
Exactly.
So it's very
you're
powerful.
Still associated. You're still you. So I take you as adult Brian. I take you to your younger self. I make you relive the situation. You cut whatever that is not necessary, because we cannot get rid of what happened, but we can take the benefits, because there's always something positive. In every darkness, there's always light. Because of that, you become a resilient artist. Because of that situation, you started trusting yourself more and go. Like, there's always some positive comes out of every negative situation. So we don't want to get rid of it all, because that situation made you who you are today. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
So now we do anger, sadness, these two, we do it together because they're kind of attached to each other. If you're angry, that it's usually, yeah, you can't separate those. So when we do ECT, anger and sadness goes together. We do guilt, we do shame, hurt, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, fear of success. Most people are actually fearful of being successful because then they're going to lose their friend. What's going to happen? What if then nobody likes me? These are all intertwined with each other. So with ECT, we literally give you a clean slate.
That's awesome.
So if you need anything, you call me.
All right. And I'll have the your contact information in the description.
Yes.
So other people can reach out to you that might need this. And it is very
Everybody
powerful.
needs this. I thought I was perfect. I needed it.
Right. And so I was going to ask also about integrating. Could you see in the future taking plant medicine in a situation and then integrating the teachings from NLP so that people can see that, you know, hey, I need to reprogram myself, and then offer them at the same time a way to reprogram yourself? It's like they work together.
You just gave me chills, because this is like my heart just became so big when you said that. I come from a plant medicine background. I've done over 100 ceremonies. I work with the plants. I love plants.
Mm-hmm.
Plants cannot do complete work if you don't do the integration. Last year, I had an experience where I had my spiritual death and I got my mission. She told me, the medicine, I call her she told me to work with people on integration. And I had no idea how to do that because I wasn't integrating myself. So I took a break. I did not drink medicine since last January. And when this NLP thing happened, I'm like, this is it. I found it. I found the cure. So now I'm actually offering integration work to my friends who are in the medicine world. And I will be offering my services also at the retreats where my teacher holds retreats, because we have a clinic there. And I will be actually doing retreats with people who's done plant medicine and they just want to integrate. We're going to go 1 week. We're going to do all the processes. I'm going to rewire them. Actually, I don't do anything because NLP is do with, not do to. I just hold the space. I ask the right questions and they fix themselves. And I'm just basically a coach. I'm on the sideline.
Absolutely.
You know, this is going to be huge in the plant medicine world. Most people think, oh, I need to go drink more because I couldn't fix that. Oh, I need to go drink more. Drinking more is not the answer. Medicine doesn't heal you. Medicine only shows you what you need to heal.
It'll just show you the same truth from a different perspective in most cases. You'll see the truth the first time, the second time, you'll still see the same truth, but it's the truth is hovering there that needs to be resolved. It's usually something that needs to be resolved, isn't it? I mean, in your experience, it's something that some kind of understanding I can take from every plant medicine experience that needs to be a resolution of some kind or integration of this new idea, right?
So what happens is she clears the baggage, right? She clears your garbage can. Whatever is energetic blockage, she's going to clear that. So your body is really healthy. So once that happens, she's going to bring up your energetic blockages, emotional blockages, your programming, she's going to start showing you. And you have to do the work. I did not know how to do the work. So if you keep going back to her and drink more, she's going to keep showing you the same thing over and over. But what happens is every time you go in, your consciousness is bigger. It's like think of a sphere, like the circle is getting bigger and bigger. So now you have a better understanding, because there's no medicine goes to waste. There's no ceremonies. There's no healing session that it could be waste. You always learn something. You're always growing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
For example, if I did not do this training and if my teacher didn't ask me the right question, I would not know that I had a limiting belief. I thought I was perfect. So with medicine, yes, maybe you're going to go back and keep drinking more. Every time she's going to show you from a different perspective until you understand you actually need to fix something.
Right. It's a wonderful, she knew what you needed and she guided you to this. So you can almost say that NLP is a result of you doing the medicine.
I believe she brought NLP into my life.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I believe she brought right people into my life because I was so open to receive. And yeah, I was just having a breakdown. And then I find out breakdown happens before breakthrough.
I'd love to see some meditations with your new discoveries on your channel.
Hypnosis.
Yeah.
Use Milton Erickson's inductions.
Uh-huh.
So right now, actually, I'm recording. I just ordered my microphone, like I told you before we started. I'm super excited. We use Milton Erickson's inductions, and then the suggestion, and then the closing. So I decided I want to actually give this as a gift. I'm just setting up my website. It will be ready by the time actually this recording is out. I'm doing a affirmation hypnosis for I am affirmations and for abundance affirmations. So they can actually listen to that before they go to bed or before they start their day. So all the affirmations, they will go in.
Right.
And actually make them feel really good.
That sounds awesome. Just let me know and I'd be happy to listen to it. I'd be excited to hear what you come up with. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever would like to see anything, you just need to let me know. I will send you everything. Actually, cool. We don't have to memorize our scripts. I have my book. You can see. I never leave home without this because you never know when you need to help someone. All the processes, we just read the script. Basically, we never go off the script because the script is written perfectly. Of course, we adjust it according to the clients, you know, the names. We can put names. We could say, what about your mom? Because it's not in there. And yeah, I have everything that I need for success.
So what is the best place that we can find you online?
Right now, my website will be ready by when this audio is out. So my website, my YouTube, I'm putting a lot of content out there. My Instagram, I'm very active. And those will be that. All
right. I'll make sure to put the links in the description. And I look forward to your next book that goes through your journey with NLP. And I look forward to reading everything that happens from here on, because I think that you're going to have some more revelations as you start to see the synchronicities between these two things.
I already see it. I just don't have the idea as a book yet. I think it will come.
Right. Oh, I see it. And I see it in the future. It'll be at a perfect timing. So
all I know that I know where I'm going, because when we set goals, we always work backwards. So when I do my hypnosis, I actually recorded my own hypnosis with my own suggestion, with my own voice. So I listen to it every night, which I'm able to do that for my clients as well. I recorded for them, but their own personalized hypnosis. So I know exactly where I'm going. I know right now I'm on the right path. So NLP and this work keeps me on track. So I start saying no to things that it doesn't align with my goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. It's always good to see you. We'll have to talk soon. And
I'm so excited. I'm so happy that we did this.
Welcome to the Reality Revolution.
Thank you.